No snowflake in an avalanche ever feels responsible. Voltaire. A Tale of Two Protests. Ms. Ryan, you flew your private jet from Texas to Washington during a pandemic to storm the Capitol on January 6, 2021. Can you tell us why? 'Cause the election was stolen from us. Trump is the rightful winner. The election was rigged. They destroyed Trump's votes and exaggerated Biden's vote count. And, well, we won't stand for it. Ms. Ryan, is there any actual proof that there was voter fraud? You do know that the election results were contested in the courts across 7 different states, and all courts agreed that the results were sound, not to mention votes were recounted multiple times in disputed states. They're all in on it. Them judges, them staff counting the votes, they cheated, they double voted, they voted with dead people's names, they allowed illegal immigrants to vote. They stole that election from us. And who do you mean by us? People like me. People who work hard for what they have. Can you elaborate on that, please? I inherited my daddy's businesses. And, well, them Democrats always talking about raising the taxes and raising the minimum wage. I won't make what I make now if I paid higher taxes and if I paid my workers higher wages. Democrats talking about making college free for young people? Well, when everybody's got a college degree, who's gonna work at my store for $8 an hour? Ms. Ryan, you were seen trying to break the Capitol's windows. How do you justify your behavior? When no one's listening to us, no one hears us shouting, "Stop the steal! Stop the steal!" There's nothing else for us to do but throw rocks and break windows. Maybe then politicians will pay attention to us. No one will fight for my right to maintain my lifestyle. No one has the right to take the wealth I inherited from my daddy, the wealth I want to leave for my children when I'm gone. I want my grandbabies to live in comfort. Miss Jackson, why did you drive all the way from Oakland to Minneapolis during a pandemic to join the George Floyd's protest on May 26, 2020? Not that a day goes by without me thinking about Oscar, but seeing George Floyd call for his mama under that cop's knees opened a world of fresh pain inside of me again. I remembered watching my son get murdered by police brutality, how he begged for his life, and begged the officer to spare him for the sake of his 3-month-old daughter. Oscar's was the first police murder recorded on video by bystanders. I was choking on my own heart as I watched them kill my son. I remembered holding him as a baby, drinking in his baby smell, that heavenly smell of milk and honey, that smell of hopes and dreams and endless possibilities, all taken away in a moment of hate, haste, confusion, and racial injustice. For 11 years, I've compared the two images in my mind. The image of Oscar as a 3-month-old baby in my arms, pure, safe, warm, and whole, completely whole, to that day 11 years ago when they called me to identify his body in the morgue, shot in the back 5 times, and completely broken. I held his body then too. I held it wanting to hear, as crazy as this may sound, one more breath, wanting to look into my baby's eyes one last time, praying for something resembling closure, but there was none. They took him. They took that smell of milk and honey, and all the possibilities were gone. He was 25 years old. I thought about how his 3-month-old daughter was the last thing on his mind, that he was thinking of all the possibilities he had hoped for her. That's what took me. That's what took all the mothers of black murdered sons and daughters to George Floyd's protest. Miss Jackson, you've been accused of throwing a bottle of water at the windows of the Justice Center during the protests. How do you justify that behavior? I ain't strong. I'm 65 years old. But I threw that plastic bottle, and it broke no window. But there comes a time when you've yelled, and you've screamed, and you've cried, and you've called for justice, and for hundreds of years, books were written, and films were made, and talks were given, and here we all are, still screaming, hands up, don't shoot, hands up, don't shoot. So I reckon if we break a window, maybe they start listening to us. But it's foolishness. It's foolishness. Is it foolishness to want for our grandbabies something other than terror and brutality? To want for them the smell of endless possibilities?